Recording. Hello, everyone. Megan will be here. She left. Now it's just her books. Oh, so everyone knows that I've been talking about this for a long time, and I actually got several text messages today from friends. Yep, I'll just start crying now. That makes sense. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Just saying, I know how important this is, and you know, good luck and stuff. And then today I went and got my coffee at the local, and the Aaron was like, "Today's the day, right?"
Oh.
So small town feel is a real, and I'm so appreciative of it. But yes, there's a new face, and it is Melanie SHANKLE. And I mean, she's famous for so many things, but in my life, her books, but also, Melanie, what's in your mug?
Iced coffee, recipe Melanie SHANKLE.
The whipped iced coffee has been a quarantine game changer.
Really is.
All of us.
Yeah.
All of us.
Good.
And so, yeah, see, what else? You hold up that book.
Okay. Small Things is the first book I read.
First book I read too. And then on the bright side,
also quarantine game changer.
Amen. Because I was in, well, actually, so it's funny. We were both flying down to Arizona, not together, not going to the same place. Both flying down to Arizona. Both brought this book with us on the plane.
Oh.
And I just stayed in Arizona because the world was shutting down. And I thought I might as well just stay by a pool.
Yeah.
It really did. Usually I'm listening to it's almost like self-help books. Like, you can do this. You're great. You're strong. And this was just such a fun, simplistic. You're just so funny. So yeah, that was a quarantine game changer as well. But I did write this down last night. I was talking about, so my closest friends, my best teachers, and movies that I quote all the time, just in like literally natural conversation, are the funny people.
Yeah.
And that's probably why you're one of my favorite authors.
Oh, that's nice.
Because of the humor. I'm laughing to where I forget other people are around, and they're like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "Oh, you guys, it's just Melanie." And then the next page, you bring it down, and you're like, you're about God and family and being a parent and being a wife, and and then I'm crying. And I like that. I like that emotional roller coaster. and it's a free ride. That is us. Exactly.
It's all of us. It's all of us.
So I love it so much. So I just can't thank you enough. I mean, really, I kept thinking it was a fake account. When you were like, "Sure, I'll do this." And I was like, "It's fake. It's a fake Melanie SHANKLE." But thank you. And
totally real.
And one of my friends said, "How is she getting these people on her Zoom?" Because they're stuck at home. Like,
that's it. Might as well.
That's hilarious.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of, but it's funny because there have been different people that have asked that I'm like, nah, it's like you caught me at the right time. I was in the right mood. It was the right day. It was the Lord's favor, because I was like, sure, I'll do it. Like, why not? So
I can't thank you enough. I can't. And then, okay, so my favorite, I'm just going to say it now, because one of my favorite stories in the book was you talked about women playing a tambourine for other women.
Yes.
And I was searching for this passage, and I couldn't find it. I'm like, was it in an Audible that I listened to? Was it a devotional? I have like a stack of 5. But the computer's on.
That's hilarious.
Devotionals. I'm like, was it in a devotional? I couldn't find it to save my life. I texted Paige, and I'm like, where in the Bible does a woman play a tambourine? And I found the Exodus, but it wasn't what you had written, and that's what I was looking for. And then one morning, in the midst of distance learning with 2 children, I opened up this page, and it was already marked. Don't know why a month ago I couldn't find marked. but it was right there. So that's when I asked you if I could read a part of your book. And also thank you for telling me yes, because I've had authors that told me no. And when I shared that part, a lady in my Bible study, she went online and ordered, I don't even know. She ordered a ton of your books.
She worried that there would be none left.
Yep.
Oh.
That's what I wanted to tell you was I hope that one, for the Zoom today, I hope that people just sense gratitude and joy today. Sometimes we are really serious and we're emotional wrecks, but today it's just like you have been able to bring so much joy and excitement to this. And also I really do hope that everyone goes and gets your book.
Thank you.
So, okay. Or yes, exactly. And I'm going to read from this one in just a second.
Oh, okay.
My favorite devotionals ever.
Yep.
Oh, y'all are so sweet. Thank you.
My sister bought me this one.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll start first with one of my favorite things, which is one of my lady friends singing. Okay, Paige, you ready for this?
Oh yes, totally.
I'm going to mute myself. I don't interrupt you.
So this song is actually called Gratitude. So actually, perfect that you're hoping that we'll be feeling that. But it's gratitude in the sense that knowing that God gives us what we need, not what we want all the time. And when I was practicing this morning, I thought of these verses from Philippians, and I thought they tied in really perfectly. So I'll read them, and then I'll start singing if I can stop shaking. So it's Philippians 4:11 through 13, and it says, "I'm not saying this because I am in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all this through him who gives me strength." And this song really just popped into my head. I literally had not listened to it for years. And the other morning it popped into my head. I'm like, what an appropriate song for this season that we're in right now, because so many are living in need because of being out of work. And just, there's just a lot of situations that are really difficult right now. And I just wish everybody knew the Lord and that he is their provider. So I just wanted to sing this song in the spirit of just recognizing God as being our all-sufficient one. So it's Gratitude by Nicole Nordman. So here we go. Send some rain, would you send some rain? 'Cause the earth is dry and needs to drink again. And the sun is high and we are sinking in the shade. Would you send a cloud, thunder long and loud? Let the sky grow black and send some mercy down. Surely you can see that we are thirsty and afraid. But maybe not today. Maybe you'll provide in other ways. And if that's the case, we'll give thanks to you with gratitude for lessons learned and how to trust in you, how to bless the very sun that warms our face. If you never send us rain. Daily bread, give us daily bread. Bless our bodies, keep our children fed. Fill our cups, then fill them up again tonight. Wrap us up and warm us through tucked away beneath our sturdy roofs. Let us slumber safe from danger's view this time. Or maybe not today. Maybe you'll provide in other ways. And if that's the case, we'll give thanks to you with gratitude. A lesson learned to hunger after you. That a starry sky offers a better view. If no roof is overhead. And if we never taste that bread, oh, the differences that often are between everything we want and what we really need. So grant us peace, Jesus, grant us peace. Move our hearts to hear a single beat between alibis and enemies tonight. Or maybe not today. Peace might be another world away. And if that's the case, we'll give thanks to you with gratitude for lessons learned, how to trust in you, that we are blessed beyond what we could ever dream, in abundance or in need. And if you never grant us peace, but Jesus, would you please?
That was beautiful.
Oh,
That
wonderful.
was so good. That was perfect, Paige.
Thanks.
It really was. It's so pretty. What was the one part? When you start getting louder is always my favorite. I was like, yeah. But my favorite lines, it keeps repeating, but it changes a few words. For lessons learned and how to thirst for you. So
yeah, I sang the wrong word there. Sorry.
It's okay. Nicole won't be sad.
We didn't notice.
Exactly. No one knows.
No, we didn't know. It was great.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Thirst for you. Like you said it beautifully when you said I that's kind of our other goal here is we want everyone to know God, to have a relationship with him, because I don't know how people go through times like this without leaning on something bigger, greater, so, and then fill our cups, wrap us up and warm us through. A lesson learned to hunger after you, for lessons learned and how to trust in you. Those are my favorite lines because I love lyrics. But it was just beautiful. Thank you. And when Paige, you were talking about we want for so much, but in that want, we have to also just remember the gratitude of what we do have. Because that's what's going to get you through the day.
Yep. And I like the line where she says, in abundance or in need.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's no matter what. And that's why I love what Paul says in Philippians. No matter what, be content in any circumstance. So,
yes. I wrote the word content down. It's a goal of mine.
It's hard. It's so hard. It is.
It is.
Lesson for life right there.
Did I interrupt you, Melanie SHANKLE?
You did not. No, I was just agreeing. I was just like, it is. No,
I don't want to
interrupt.
I don't want to interrupt Melanie SHANKLE.
No.
Okay, I'm going to read a devotional from Melanie SHANKLE's book, Everyday Holy. And I don't remember, when did you give this to me?
I think I gave it to you. I did not write the date. I think I gave this book to my whole team I worked with when I was leaving. So it must have been a year ago. Last May.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure but I did read through the whole thing.
Did it? Yeah, I thought it had just come out.
Oh, really?
It came out, I think it came out 2 years ago.
Okay.
Like 2 years ago, this May-ish. Because it came out right before Mother's Day, like 2 years ago, I think.
Okay,
cool.
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I did read through the whole thing, so I had to get it off my shelf.
Uh-huh.
But then it was funny because I was like, I'm going to go and I'm going to pick some of my favorite ones. I don't know if you can see all the corners of marked pages.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
People are like, are you nervous? I'm like, well, I'm just still trying to get through all the books. My favorite part.
Yeah.
I have too many.
And I sat next to my boyfriend's sons, they're 7 and 9, on a plane while I was reading your book, and I kept highlighting things, like the letter you gave me, and the 7-year-old goes, why are you writing in that book? And I kept
wrong with you?
This is what people do.
We don't touch books. Yes, we do.
Yeah. Mark them all up.
Exactly.
So the one that I'm going to share it's actually titled Selah, and it's just we've talked so much. The word Selah just keeps coming up throughout these Zooms. And my sister bought me a pillow that said Selah, and it's just, I think it's not just huge for us, but in the world. Just pause, be still. So then when I was looking for which one of the million am I going to share, this one is actually titled Selah. So I'm going to read it now.
Okay. That's great.
Okay. I will remember the deeds of the Lord. Yes, I will remember your miracles of long ago. I will consider all your works and meditate on all your mighty deeds. Your ways, God, are holy. What God is as great as our God? Psalm 77, 11 through 13. I've always contended that King David may have been a little melodramatic. In the words of one of my favorite fictional characters, Moira Rose, also I put in my notes, in this notebook, that I love that you reference Schitt's Creek all the time. Yeah. I love Schitt's Creek. So we'll talk, we'll put a pin in that.
Okay, yep.
Moira, what you did was impulsive and melodramatic, but it was also wrong. And I get it. I'd be a little overdramatic too if I started out life as a shepherd and ended up being anointed king and spending years of my life being hunted by the current king, who was more than a little troubled. Psalm 77, 7 through 9 reads, Will the Lord spurn forever and never again be favorable? Has his steadfast love forever ceased? Are his promises at the end for all time? Has God forgotten to be gracious? Has he in an anger shut up his compassion? Selah. That's funny. Didn't I read something that also ended in the word Selah? I know I did. Okay, anyways. And the word Selah used to confuse me. What does it mean? I know it's the name of a Christian group, but why? My sister loves Selah. It turns out that Selah is a musical term that means to rest, to pause, to take a little break. I have begun to realize that I have to build in times of rest when I'm feeling overwhelmed and can't hear God, or start to doubt if he's in anything I'm doing. God can't speak when we are busy serving him, and when we are so busy serving him that we forget to rest in him. The beginning of Psalm 77 is dramatic and full of weariness we've all felt at one time or another, but then that Selah comes, and we see an entirely new perspective. After David rests and then stops his pity party in favor of remembering all that God has done, it's like David knew he needed to stop and rest and regroup. What this tells me is that sometimes we all need a little Selah. Sometimes we need a place to pause and lift up our worries and fears and grievances and allow God to shift our perspective. And sometimes we just need to rest because if we're going to be renewed, we have to be kind to our soul. We can't just keep going through the motions, pretending like it's all okay when it's not. It's okay to say we're tired and need a break. Sometimes Selah is what we need to find our joy again and to remember all that God has done for us, and that what he has done before, he will do again. So, I love it. Thank you, Melanie.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was so good. And I will, it's just my love language of humor and then real. Like it's beautiful and funny. And humor is just how you get me, because where there's an emotion attached, a memory is made. And so I just love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, where do we go from here? There's just so much. Okay, I do have a question, Melanie.
Sure.
How do you write? Do you if you come up with an idea, do you write it in the car, or do you ground yourself and say, stay in this room and don't come out till you're done writing a chapter?
It kind of depends. It depends on what I'm doing. Like right now, I'm not writing anything. Like I'm On the Bright Side was my last book I was under contract for. And I had told myself that I was going to take a rest after this, because I wrote, I think in the span of 4 years, I did 2 devotionals, 2 books, and a Bible study. And I was like, I need a break. And I also didn't know how much downtime I was going to have right now. I thought I was going to be traveling and speaking and doing stuff. And so it's kind of different. But for me, it depends on right now, what I do is I think because I had a blog that started all this, and I started the blog back in 2006. And I'd always liked to write, but I think what writing does, because I wrote daily blog posts for 10 years, Monday through Friday, I would write blog posts, and it makes you observe everything around you, because you're constantly looking for a story. How am I going to turn this into a story? So I would, I used to have a little notebook that I kept, and if something funny happened, I would just kind of jot it down. Now that's in my phone. So if I were to die and somebody were to go through the notes on my iPhone, they would be like, I don't even understand what she's saying. What is Target dogs, peanut butter muffin? How does all this, but in my mind, it helps me remember, this was the story I'm going to tell. Yep. Or I'll be listening to a sermon, I'll be at church and the pastor will say something. And I'm like, ooh, that's a whole thing that I think I can go with, or whatever. So I'll get ideas. So I'm constantly taking notes is part of it. And then when I actually sit down and I have a book, the first thing I do with a book is so different, because I'll outline it to what I think it's going to be. I'll kind of make a rough outline of this is how I think it's going to go. It never goes the way I outline it. If you look at my outlines, the titles are never the same. The chapters are never the same. The whole thing. I mean, I think On the Bright Side had 6 different titles before. But so when I'm actually under contract for a book and I'm under a deadline, I make myself, it's like a discipline. I try to always write during the school year. So it's Caroline's at school, and I sit down either at my house or a coffee shop, depending on the day. And I kind of block out a time. And for me, I know I can only write about 3 hours at a time before I'm just brain dead. I have nothing else to say. And I'm a first draft writer. So for me, it's just, and it's kind of the way, my books really are, it sounds weird to say I don't try hard, because I do, but I also I type them like I'm talking to a friend at lunch. So it's just stream of consciousness. So when I get a thought, I just write the whole thing out. And so I can sit down in a 3-hour period, and a lot of times I can get out 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 words, and then I'll go back. But what I also have learned is I have to wait about 3 days, and then I go back, and out of that, I figure out, I'll salvage what's salvageable. And then some of it is this is garbage, or this makes no sense. So it just depends on, but for me, I have to discipline myself to sit down and write in chunks of time. But I'm constantly, even now, because I have no idea what my next book will be about, but I know there'll be a next book. So it's I just am constantly thinking this would be something in a book, or this would be something I would use. And when I wrote Everyday Holy, the devotional, that was totally different, because coming up with 100 devotions is so hard, because you're this isn't just me telling a story. I need God to actually reveal something to me that then I can use, and it has to be scripturally sound, and it has to make sense. And so any writer who's ever written a full 365-day devotion, my hat is off to them, because I don't know how you write 365. And I have people that say I wish you'd write another 100-day devotional. And I'm I wouldn't even, when you just read that one, I'm I don't even remember writing that. It's been so long ago when you write it. So I'm it would just be a lot of repeats probably.
That's funny. That's funny.
I say in future news, Melanie SHANKLE rides a 365-day.
Yeah.
You said you didn't want to, and now it's going to happen.
I know. That's kind of the way things always happen. But it would take me, they would be like, and it's coming out. She's 75 now. It's her last work.
She was so sweet.
Yeah.
I loved when you said you write like you're talking to a friend. That's probably why when I describe you as an author and describe these books to you or to my friends and say, go read this book, I will often say it's a simple read.
Yeah.
And it's easy. I'm an Audible reader because I don't sit long enough to actually read a book. So also, good job, because I actually sat and read this one. But because it was so simple, it was so fun. And it probably because it just seemed like a conversation with a friend. And just the way you write, it's just funny. It's funny and so entertaining. Deep. Yeah. Real life stuff.
Yeah.
And I think to me, like, even like I was with girlfriends last night and I'm like, that's to me what real life is it's like 1 minute we're talking about like, because beauty salons opened up. So we're like, oh my gosh, who's going for a pedicure first thing tomorrow morning, to the next thing is like, how are we going to get through this season and what's going on? It's like, you kind of do this roller coaster, like you go deep and then you come up for air. And I think in my writing, like, I think I've struggled at times to be like, where do I fit in like the Christian writer mold? In some ways, but I'm like, there are so many women who I feel like are writing like great, deep, serious Bible studies all the time. And then there's a lot of, I feel like, Christian self-help. And for me, like, I kind of write to like, I'm so much more likely to go read Mindy Kaling's book or Tina Fey's book than I am to go read like the latest Christian self-help book. That's just not my thing. So it's like, I think I've always tried to write like what I would want to read, you know, because I feel like we can be inundated with so many messages of you need to be this and you need to be this and you need to be that. And that tends to make me feel suffocated and like, I can't be all that. And so I would rather just, hey, here's some funny and then here's some truth woven into that. So.
Well, and I think that realness is what people will always connect to. The realness. And when I was going through On the Bright Side and figuring out which parts I wanted you to read, and then I can't remember, maybe I was talking to Paige right before the Zoom and I was like, I think I just want her to read the whole book. I don't know. I can't. And I was going through it and everything, again, this was my second time going through it. I'm like, well, that's good. And just, you talk about the importance of sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because it is. And then
it
you
is
talk about being a good mom, and you talk about how you're a good mom because you showed up. It's not all the things you've done, but Caroline has felt loved and safe, and you have shown up. And it's just I just don't really know where to begin. But, okay, I know what I'm going to start with, though, just because it's staring at me. You ready for this? Okay.
Yes. I saw these, and I go, did you get these? Because
you know people. Yeah, you just wait for it. Melanie. That's right.
I have this page marked in my book, you guys.
Oh, my gosh. Y'all are hilarious. That is so funny.
And this is
done.
My daily regimen. Okay?
Good for you.
Oh, no.
Did you order slug juice or?
No, I did not.
No.
I do for mine there.
No, that was a short-lived thing.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm like, I'm gonna show this to people because I marked the page and I was on Amazon and Sephora that night getting things suggested. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this woman, she's done her work. Research. And you are in depth. You're like, if it said to try this and it's like what the slug stuff. Remember our mom? She bought this stuff.
A lady, she did have really nice skin, you guys.
I mean, we'll get it all.
I was not against it. And then yesterday during your read aloud, which I loved because it was about the middle. And I told Ashley, you can have her read that part too, because that has always been significant to me, that phrase, when I was going through a tough time. And you said something like, I'm 47 or whatever. And I was like, You do not look 47. You're doing a great job.
Exactly.
Thank you. And I'm actually almost 49 now because I wrote that book 2 years ago.
You look great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
sure.
thank you.
You
I just did
have
a quarantine peel, so I'm still a little
I
red
know.
from my deep quarantine peel, but
I
I'm
was
working.
intrigued by that too.
Yeah. So
I mean, Melanie, I have the rose hip oil, like you say,
good for you.
and then I got the retinol Vitus C powder serum.
That's key. That's
Yep,
key. That's your most important thing right there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I got that.
Okay.
And then, how do you say this?
Oh, the La Mer.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you talked about like how this was like
It's the gold standard. Yeah. It's like super. Yeah. That's deluxe.
and like so, and it was like it's expensive.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I think I have to have it.
Okay.
So I did get the moisturizing cream.
Good for
And
you.
that's gonna last me forever because that bad boy's thick.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
It
that's
is.
It's worth it. Okay.
Yeah.
And then this one, because it was expensive, I just got the small bottle.
Yeah.
And again, because it's good quality, just a little do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Just a little tiny bit. Yeah. A little bit.
I just want you to
I'm
know
so proud.
if you ever doubt that you're not serving a purpose, you are. Okay.
This is it.
Yes.
This is it.
Face stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? Do you have something to? I feel like I'm talking a lot.
No, you're good.
Share some. Would you want to share something from this book?
I just was going to share, I was going to say that just so you know, we also have Mabel and Piper's book.
We do our picture book. We gave it, well, my sister gave it to the girls for Easter.
Yep.
Oh, I love that.
And it was the first book before I knew all that would entail in online learning, Melanie, before I knew that, exactly.
Because she's a teacher.
It's just
Okay.
And we were gonna like share kids, and we were gonna have a cousin's classroom. It was the first book I read during quarantine out loud. To the
Okay. Okay.
and
Good job.
we wrote a teenage or a girls devotional also.
Yes. Yes.
And my daughter has that too. I think.
Oh, I love that.
It has the lion on it.
It has a lion on it. Fearless faith. Yep.
Should have grabbed that.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, everything you write. I don't know. I just want. I just like it when you guys talk.
We don't have to talk long about it, but your friend Jen.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I was driving back from a golf course and I was by myself in the car listening to it in Audible. And I mean, it was ugly cry.
Mm-hmm.
I might veer off into the ditch because I can't see, but it was just, we don't have to, it was just beautiful.
Thank you.
And it just really makes you think about friendships on a whole nother level. So, and then Gilly, like, I just love her name. Okay. What'd you say? Gully.
Gully.
Did I call her Gully?
You did, but
Saturday Night Live sketch.
Oh my God. Gilly. Oh, that's exactly it.
But when you said it, I thought you were being funny because she always says Gilly. I thought you had a nickname for Gully. You want Gilly?
Yeah.
So, but I still love Gully's name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You hang out there like every day. It feels like you hang out there every day.
I mean, it's funny. We do not as much. It's funny because when the kids were little, we were together all the time, like every day. And then, but her boys go, like, we only live about 1.5 miles apart, but her boys go to a different high school. And so it's funny because we've seen each other so much during this time. I know we're not supposed to, but we have. We've social distanced. I'm like, listen, if you have it, I'm going to get it too. We're all going down together. I don't even care, whatever. But so we said last night, we were like, this is our Corona crew. Like, we're the Corona crew. We've all been together this whole time. So we're just our little group. But we have gotten to see each other so much more. Life had gotten so busy where, like, we really had gotten to where we were like, we have lunch every Tuesday, and that was our for sure set time. But between her having 2 high school boys and me having a high school daughter, we were crazy with stuff. And, that's one of the things we were saying last night is it's so, as much as I miss certain things, I'm like, this pace of life is so different. Like, it's so weird now to, like, we're all home and we're all eating dinner and we have time to do stuff and we can take a breath. And it's like, it makes you realize, I'm like, it's going to be interesting to see, like, it's going to feel like whiplash if we go back to how it was in a lot of ways. So, but yeah, Gully and I we see each other. We talk multiple times a day. We text pretty much all day long, on and off. And yeah, and we see each other as much as we can. So
I hope you don't call her Gilly.
I don't call her Gilly. You know, her real name is Amy. You know, her first name is Amy.
Oh,
so
have you talked about it?
I think I wrote about it maybe in Nobody's Cuter. I can't remember, which was my book before Church of Small Things. But so Gully was her maiden name. So she was Amy Gully in college. But we had, because we were born in the 70s, so we had like 24 friends that were all named Amy. And so, you know, because that was the big 70s name, and my sister's Amy. And so we just called them all by their last name. So by the time she got married, we'd all been calling her Gully for 10 years. And so you're like, you can't not call her Gully. That's just who she is. Yeah. Yeah. So.
Okay. Do we want to pause for a song? Like, this is fun. It's
like
a commercial break for a song.
Sure.
And then I'm going to have Melanie read my favorite part.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Is it Jordan or Megan? Who's going? Megan? Okay.
I must admit, I'm enjoying this whole conversation, but I feel like I have seriously missed something by not having read any of your books. Just have to have an honest moment. I wrote them all down because I'm like, and then I'm a doodler. I swear I'm listening. I'm just like,
I'm total same.
Okay, because I'm like, they sound wonderful, but I'm like sitting here like listening and then being like, yeah, Gully, blah, blah. But I haven't read the book.
You're so fine.
So, but nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Megan.
I'm like, as soon as I have like you'd think I had more spare moments right now, but I can't seem to find them.
I know.
But as soon as I need to get on this Audible audio train, but I'm not even in my car that much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, where? I don't know.
I know. I get it.
Megan, I listen to them when I'm getting ready, putting on mascara, doing my hair, and sometimes I listen to it in the shower too. Audible. Sure.
Okay. Because I'm like, those are.
My brain doesn't shut off. So.
Those are usually my music times, and I'm like, maybe I need to get some of these audiobooks going. I don't know.
We're doing laundry. Listen to a book.
Yeah.
Right now, I am listening to Jessica Simpson's book.
Okay, yeah. we were talking about that last night. Gully's reading it right now. I'm going to read it.
It's very interesting. I will mute my Beachbody workout and listen to Audible.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's on my next.
5 birds, 1 stone. Yeah. That's what I do.
Doing it. Doing it.
Okay, Megan, I'm muting myself. Promise.
Okay. So I totally rocked Paige's world because, not really, but she totally had it. And it was beautiful. Songs are so nice when the same person sings them through because you got your momentum and then you like nail it. And I swear, Paige, ever since Eye is on the Sparrow, I am just like, I have to wait because you got that, it's that soul and you get it and then it's there. Anyway, but this morning I was like, listening to music while I was getting ready. So I really put a lot of effort into it this morning. And this is not a new song. It is by Shane Harper. I printed it out while we were visiting. And it's called Hold You Up. And this one just played this morning and it was what I needed. I don't know that it fits into our theme, but I'm sure we will always find a way to make it fit because God has a way of doing that and piecing it all together for us. There's a line in this song in the second verse. It says, they see the fear in your eyes, heart sinks like a stone, because when you're afraid, it weighs on your soul. And I think just what this meant to me this morning was just that we don't have to be afraid. It does weigh on us. Even when we don't feel afraid, there are things going on around us all the time, and there's so much noise and just people pollution. I don't know, that it's easy to be afraid even when you don't feel afraid. And that with God's peace, we don't need to feel that way. And that he's covering everything, like he's got it. So that was kind of the message it had to me, is that to take that weight off, you need to give it to him. And I don't always do that because I don't think I always realize how heavy things are getting. So I'm going to go ahead and try to sing this. It's going to be a little strange. I'm going to have to mix it up a little because I can't really sing it in the key it's in, which is a common theme for me. So, okay. When it's coming apart, you had it all. It wasn't enough. No, it's not enough. They tell you it's not worth the price, so just let it go. But you know you can't, and you know you won't. It's not easy, no, finding the words to say. When you're feeling lost, you'll find your way. The world is so broken and sometimes it leaves you cold. And at times you can't feel the fire to guide you home. The demons will haunt you and try to steal what you know. But the angels, they brought you and they're gonna hold you up. Yeah, they're gonna hold you up. They see the fear in your eyes, heart sinks like a stone. 'Cause when you're afraid, it weighs on your soul. And it's not easy, no, finding the words to say. When you're feeling lost, you'll find your way. The world is so broken and sometimes it leaves you cold. And at times you can't feel the fire to guide you home. The demons will haunt you and try to steal what you know. But the angels, they brought you and they're gonna hold you up. Yeah, they're gonna hold you up. And there's more, but I'm stopping there because that's where my lyrics run out. And when I can't read off the paper, I get really nervous.
Your voice sounded
I loved
beautiful.
it. Yeah, it did. It sounded so good, Megan.
Beautiful.
I usually stand up to sing, so it was a little weird.
Sounded beautiful.
Great.
And my sister said, "That's a beautiful song."
It's really, it's from the soundtrack to the God's Not Dead movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, at least that's where I first heard it, and I was like, "Ooh, I like that." And so I've had it on my playlists since that movie came out, probably.
I like that.
But it's a good one. It's a pretty one.
It is
Thank
pretty.
you, Megan.
Thank you for letting me share it.
Absolutely. No, thank you.
Yeah, seriously.
For sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Melanie, are you ready?
I am ready. Ready.
So when you there's so many things actually. Okay, so when you were talking about you had said that you are like a first draft writer, like you read it one time. Okay, so I think it's funny when teachers. I was a teacher for 13 years.
Okay.
And teachers that give kids like Venn diagram worksheets or worksheets to fill in before their writing process. My sister and I teach a writing class to teachers, and I always use the example of, I don't think Stephen King sits down and writes and does a Venn diagram and then like a topic sentence with 3 details in green, and then an ending concluding sentence in yellow. Like, that's just not what writers do. So I love that you said that, because writers just write.
Yeah.
And you talked about how it's observing, looking for a story, because everything can be a story.
Yeah.
But then, so then talking also about books. Lately, I struggle with read this article, read the story, and then answer a bunch of questions about it.
Yeah.
That's not real life. What is real life is when I read a good book or read a good chapter, and then I run to a friend and say, it's actually the girl from the coffee shop. Hi, Erin. And she said, I'm listening to her book. She was reading it as she was driving. And I said, did you get to the part about her daughter? Because that's what we do as readers, is we want to talk about our favorite parts. We don't want to take a test about our favorite parts. We want to talk to people about our favorite parts. But that was my favorite part, when she is trying on a prom dress.
Homecoming dress, but yeah.
Homecoming dress. And she asks one line, what do you think? And then you just go on about all the things you are thinking in your head. And it was probably my favorite part of the whole book. So please share it.
I will. I am going to tell y'all, I'll just tell y'all one thing real quick before I read. You know, it's funny, like what you're talking about, like on the bright side to me. And I joked, and I can't remember if it's in this book or in another book, but I've always said that whatever the thing I write about is the thing that God tests me on in my own life. And so the irony that I had a book come out called On the Bright Side at the beginning of a worldwide pandemic. Yes. I mean, I don't want to say that I caused the coronavirus, but it just...
That's a lot to put on.
Exactly. It's a lot. But I'm just saying it really does. I mean, because it's made me have to go. And I think, you know, my encouragement I would give today is I really, even in the midst of this, because the whole premise from this book all started from the chapter called When Life Gives You Lemons, and when life isn't the bright side of things not turning out like you planned. And back in December, I was in New Hampshire and I gave this talk on like when life doesn't turn out like you planned. And I was like, okay, we had no idea how much life was not going to turn out like we planned for all of us. And I think that's what's so interesting about this time is there's never been something that universally we're all going through. Like it's not just like I've lost a parent or this horrible thing has happened or I'm going through a divorce. It's like we're all going through this unprecedented time. But I believe, I will say, like I still believe to my very core that there is always a bright side, and that I think that God is using so many things in this for good and will use it for good, and things that we'll look back on and go, this was for good, even though there were hard times and there were struggles and there was the uncertainty. Because I think if nothing else, I feel like there's become this message of like, and I'm going to say this and I don't mean it but it's like, you know, it's the girl wash your face message, but I'm like, well, you can, but that still doesn't control everything that's going to happen to you. Like there's, at some point you have to go, God is in control and I'm going to trust that he's in control. And I think we've never had more of a tangible time of going, I'm not in control of any of this. Like I literally cannot control any of this. I can be mad about wearing a face mask, but it isn't going to change the fact that I still have to wear a face mask. So it's, you know, it's like, I'm not in control of that. So anyway, just to encourage y'all that I absolutely still believe it. And I think that we're going to come out of this, and I think we're going to see God do things that we couldn't have even fathomed with this time, and use it in a way. But this is a chapter just kind of about raising a teenager, because my daughter now is just, I guess, is almost done with her junior year. So she's about to be a senior. So my best friend Gully used to teach at a Christian preschool. And one day, after she'd shared the story of Jesus's crucifixion and resurrection with the class, one of her 3-year-old students told her mom that at school they had heard a sad story and a happy story and a mad story. As she relayed the story of Jesus's betrayal by friends, the crucifixion, and the joy of Mary Magdalene finding the empty tomb. This is also a good description for being the mom of a teenager, because it's an almost constant combination of feeling sad one minute, happy the next, and mad a minute later when you realize they lied when they said their room was clean. It also looks a lot like being a combo Uber driver ATM machine who dispenses cash at will. Stay tuned for my TED Talk on raising a teenager entitled, I don't know what time it starts or where I'm going or who's going to be there, and I'm annoyed that you're concerned with all these details, and quit saying that's lit. Really, there's really no experience like having the child to whom you've dedicated your whole heart and soul text you GTG, got to go, when you care enough to text them and ask how their day is going at school. They also give up after 3 seconds of looking for the tennis shoes that you know are in their closet, but will devote 45 minutes to answering questions for an online hair quiz to determine their hair texture and which expensive products you should buy them to help them live their best hair life. Here's a teen math problem for you that perfectly illustrates this stage of life. If you have 6 half-full water bottles in your bedroom, how long will it take to walk to the fridge and get a 7th one? If you left 4 pairs of shoes in the kitchen and then grab another pair out of your closet, how many pairs of shoes will you eventually leave in the kitchen? Also, 1 pair of soccer cleats left in your backpack long enough equals a great science fair exhibit on the danger of staph infections. I was in Starbucks a while back and another mom was there with her toddler. The whole time they were in line, the little girl kept up a running commentary on everything and clearly wanted her mom's full attention. Mommy, look at me. Mommy, see how I picked my own juice. Mommy, mommy, mommy. Those days are a vague memory now that parenting often feels more like being a groupie at a Justin Timberlake concert and you're just hoping maybe you'll get 10 seconds of eye contact. A few days ago, Caroline and I went shopping for a homecoming dress. We went to Dillard's at the mall closest to our house, and I prayed that God, in his infinite mercy, would let us find a dress without too much pain and agony. Lord, have mercy on me, a mother in the junior dress department of a department store that's seen better days. Caroline and I went our separate ways and each began pulling dresses that we thought might work. It's safe to say our choices look significantly different. Mine was compiled of offerings that looked as though they came from the Barbie Princess collection, and hers was more like the Kardashians do homecoming. How else do you describe a crushed velvet dress that's in a size 0 that looks like it's not big enough to be used as a dust rag? We eventually made our way to the dressing room where I asked if I should come in or if she wanted me to sit outside. She invited me in, and so I silently followed with all the awe and privilege that being allowed into a teen girl's private sanctum requires. I'd just gone to see the musical Hamilton a couple of weeks earlier, and all I could think was, I am in the room where it happens. Caroline began to try on dress after dress. I dutifully zipped up each one, watched her make a face as she assessed it in the mirror, and then hung the reject back on the hanger, creating a large pile of no thank yous. All around us in the other dressing rooms, I could hear moms and daughters engaging in the same discussions we were. Mom, I love that one. It's just precious. Teen girl, mother, I do not want precious. I look like an American Girl doll. It's awful. Mom, that one is perfect. Teen daughter, it is not perfect. It feels like daggers on my skin. Take it off. Help me get it off. It's like daggers. It occurred to me in that moment that a brilliant business plan would be to find a way to sell wine in the junior section of department stores across America during homecoming and prom season. When it comes to finding the right party dress, mothers across the nation have never known less about fashion or style or what looks best. Any pride we ever had in our ability to make sartorial selections is decimated faster than you can say gunny sacks by Jessica McClintock. About this time, Caroline tried on a black ruffled dress that I brought in as a last-ditch Hail Mary. She wrinkled her nose when she saw it, but I told her it would look much better than it did on the hanger and encouraged her to just try it. I zipped up the back for her. She looked at herself in the mirror for a long few minutes and then turned to me and asked, "What do you think?" What do I think? I think you are my sun and my moon, and no light shines brighter than you in my life. I think I blinked and my little girl became a gorgeous woman who makes me so proud I can hardly bear it. I think you are the most amazing, perfect creature who has ever been made, and I can't believe I've had the privilege of raising you. I think you are leaving for college in just a few short years, and I have no idea how I can't remember life before you, yet have never seen time go by so fast. I hope that I've prepared you for life and for the challenges you'll face as you find your way. I think you were every dream I ever had standing right in front of me in a black ruffled dress. But I couldn't say all that. She would just roll her eyes and never understand until one day when, God willing, she has a daughter of her own. So I just said, "Babe, you look stunning. It looks great on you. That's the perfect dress." She replied with a shrug of her shoulders and said, I don't know. I think I'll go with the other one instead. And that sums up having a teenager. These are the years that increase our prayer life as we hold on for the ride to see who they are going to become and try to figure out how to show them the way and get out of their way all at the same time. Mamas, remember this. We are cracked. We are flawed. We are far from perfect. We won't always get it right, and there will be plenty of days when we just put our heads down and cry at all the ways we messed up. We will give lectures that just ramble on about character and perseverance and doing unto others as you would have done unto you and hope we've made some kind of point. Yet God entrusted these babies to us because of that, and honestly, in spite of that. We are the ones he knew could shape them into the people he created them to be. On the bright side, I choose to believe it's keeping my mind sharp by forcing me to find ways to keep my sanity while my child has the audacity to honk the car horn at me to hurry up like my only job in life is to be her chauffeur. That's the end.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Buying the book.
Okay, there you go. Sold, Megan. Sold.
Yeah, I mean,
oh, thank God. Megan likes it.
Megan, you'll love it.
I'm crying.
Oh,
I've got little tears.
Oh, that's
daughters. So we're all like,
yeah.
My baby's about to be 3, and I keep getting accused of being the reason she's still a baby.
Yes. Oh, well. Listen.
Like yesterday, I really quick. I promise it's short. I was at a friend's house, and she was being a little bougie and freaking out because she couldn't drink what I was drinking.
Yes.
It's not acceptable for a child to be drinking.
Yes.
So she was having a fit about it, and I picked her up, and I was like, "You can't, honey. You can't. I'll get you your own straw and your own cup." And then she was just like, "Oh, Mom," and all sad. And then I went, "Do you want a cookie?" And my friend looked at me. It was Jess Garrett. And she looked at me and she was like, and I was like, "It's fine. My baby. She's sad. It's fine.
Cookies make us happy."
That's
no
right.
Kidding. Just like a cookie.
Jordan, how are you doing?
Huh?
How are you doing, Jordan?
I'm great, you know.
How many girls
I'm
do
the
you
mom that just had the conversation with all 5 of my kids about character.
Okay, there you go. Mm-hmm. Integrity, it's who you are when nobody's looking.
Yeah.
I just have to tell you thank you, Melanie, because when I'm reading a part of a book, and it's my favorite part, and then to hear you read it.
Oh.
So
that's cool.
So thank you for that.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me today. This was fun.
Oh, good. And let's see. I know you have AT&T.
I do. My internet. I'm on the countdown to my internet upgrade.
There was a part you talk about the perfect man.
I love that part.
It's my favorite part because I've always said that women, our dad was mean to our mom, and so we've learned, one, the bar should be set very high, and I firmly believe that every woman should be treated like a princess, and that sex is important.
It's true, all true.
Exactly. But I cannot find it, Melanie.
I know I have it marked in my book too. But see, this is what happens when you mark 89 things.
I know. I'm like looking. I'm like, and y'all are like saying that, and I'm like, did I write that?
Relationships, or is the part about people stepping up to be a dad for Perry? Both of those.
Oh, I do love that part too. That was good. I remember that.
Are you talking about? Melanie, is it maybe in the beginning? I love saying Melanie.
Yeah, Melanie SHANKLE.
I don't know. I'm sitting here trying to think.
Like picking up. There's a mess.
I'm so sad. I'll find it at some point. I literally have all of these. I just actually went by that page that said, I do know that I spend more and more time every night before bed applying all manner of creams and lotions as I hum shares, "If I could turn back time." And Perry yells out from the bedroom, "Are you coming to bed?" And I yell back, "You don't want to be married to an old hag. I'm trying to help you out."
So good.
All the musical references and Schitt's Creek references, everything. Oh, you do reference Friday Night Lights.
Oh, we love it.
Best show ever.
Best show ever is correct.
Just so many. You said, thankfully, this Into Self-Improvement generally doesn't make it past January 15th because, frankly, it's exhausting. And I set myself up for failure by committing to way too much for a person whose greatest accomplishment in the month of December, by her own admission, was rewatching all 5 seasons of Friday Night Lights. We love Coach Taylor.
We love Riggins too.
He's the best. They're both the best.
Okay, well, you know what? I can't
I know.
find it.
We're
It's
gonna,
fine.
if you talk, I'll try and find it. I think I know. It must be in the relationship chapter.
If you could see.
No, what? Okay, tell me exactly, because I'm trying to see if I can help you out.
I know. It was wasn't it talking about just finding a good man?
Yeah.
So I would think it would be in the marriage chapter.
Yeah. I'm thinking you're right.
I also just underlined that part. I believe that children are our future. Teach them well, let them lead their way. Just like Whitney told us years ago.
That's right.
Amen.
Was there a part where Perry, you guys were married and there was like a mess, like the dogs threw up?
Yes. Is that what we're thinking of?
Was it in that part? Because I liked it because a lot of people give up, because I've been divorced, Melanie.
Okay.
A lot of people give up and you can fight for it, but it was about, you're there for the good stuff, but you're there and you're cleaning up the dog puke together too.
Yes.
I
Okay.
remember I highlighted all of it and I was hoping my boyfriend's sons weren't looking at that. Star it.
I'm looking.
I should have been more.
There was so much.
There really is. It's fine.
So when I talk about, because I talk about like when you're dating, keep your eyes open when he shows you things about who he is.
Oh, I had that marked. What page is that? Yeah.
That's page 77.
Ooh.
76, 77.
She probably has it all underlined.
When he shows you things about who he is, both good and bad, believe them. Watch how he treats others. See how he lives out his faith. Determine if he's a man of character and integrity. Does he make you laugh? Does he challenge you? Does he inspire you to be a better person? Is he a good friend? Does he offer grace when you make a mistake? But his character is crucial. All of that. I had under. Oh, look,
there you go.
Cleaning up. Yeah, marriage is when the relationship settles into real life and it doesn't fix anything. Grocery shopping and children and assembling furniture. Oh Lord,
that'll do it.
Oh yeah, sure will. Budgeting money and navigating each other's families and cleaning up when the dog poops in your bedroom. Depending on the day, all of these things can be equally difficult tasks. Then I stirred my coffee angrily while thinking, I don't need you to just raw sugar all over me at 8 a.m. in the morning, because he had asked if you were out of raw sugar. So there's just too much. I almost need like another hour. So Melanie SHANKLE will be with us next Friday. Just kidding. There are so many things, but I just want to thank you.
Oh my gosh.
You want to share? Was there a favorite part on the bright side? I
don't know if there was a favorite part. I just think that I look at the whole book and go, it's funny because when all of this started to ramp up and I was like, I cannot believe I'm releasing a book in a time, because you plan that so carefully, and that I'm releasing a book in this time when it's so crazy, when Amazon isn't shipping like normal. All my speaking events got canceled. Like everything that you do to like hopefully get a good start out in the world was done. And it really became that. I was like, I have to find the bright side. And it's just, it is going back to, it's like I said, it's just trusting that God uses every single bit of it. Because I'm like, it's to me the reminder that we need now. And I thought that the world was going to be so angry. I thought it was going to be like, hey, look on the bright side, because it was going to come out in a presidential election year. And I had no idea that was going to be like the tip of the iceberg. Like now you're like, yeah, now you're like, presidential elections, that's nothing. Who's even talking about that? Like that's
the murder wasps are coming.
Yeah. It's like now we've got pandemic experts and non-pandemic experts, and we're arguing about and I'm like, we're all still so angry. And it's like, I just hope that it brings us back to remember that what we all have in common. I still believe in this, maybe like a Pollyanna view of me, but I believe that if you sit down and you talk to somebody and you hear their heart, I believe that we all want the same things a lot more than we don't. And I don't want us to buy into the social media perception that we're as divided as they want to make us think that we are. Because I don't believe it. I don't believe it. So anyway, I would just encourage y'all to, continue to find the bright side and continue to keep your head up. And, the good news is you're in Wyoming. So that works out. Listen.
Yep. My friend and I were on a walk the other day, and I actually said to her, because, you know, I'm like, well, I was telling my family that I was going to move to Austin.
Okay.
That's
No.
Texas. And then I told my friend, I go, this, you know, I am thankful and so happy that I am from Wyoming, because things are just slow. They were slow.
Yeah.
Now they're just a little slower.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
you
that's
know,
okay.
And it is okay. The movie theater is opening its concessions.
Oh, that's
Saturday.
big. It's a big deal.
Exactly. And no, the movies aren't, but the concessions are.
Okay.
And that is the bright side.
There you go.
I'm going to go get a tub of popcorn. So
That is the bright side. Listen, and if this thing lasts another month, I may fly to Wyoming and just move in with one of y'all for the summer.
we have room. I will make room. I will kick out the kids.
Yeah, I can make you iced coffee, and my sister's a really good cook.
Oh yeah, I
Perfect.
can whip that coffee. Yeah.
Perfect. That tempts me. Me.
I wish I did have more time to share my favorite parts, Melanie.
There's a
but,
lot.
You know, I'll when I'm bored, I'll go on social
Now
media.
you can message me because you know it's a real account. It's not a fake account. So you know that you actually are getting me. So there you
And
have
it will
it.
be kind of like, hi, this is your friend.
Oh, hey, it's
Yes, it's Ash. Yeah, it's Ash and Mel. It's Paige, Megan, it's Jordan. We're all here. Yeah, it's good.
We're so close. Okay. Yes. There. You do talk a lot about comparison.
Yeah.
That is, we've always heard that it's a thief of joy.
Yes.
And talk a lot about that. And so we don't have a whole lot of time to talk about that, but again, in the book, you talk a lot about it.
I do.
Social media, I think, is the devil.
Yes.
However, it's also a platform for what I'm trying to do, and it's important for you. But you just have to have your heart right. You have to have your heart right.
Yep. Yeah.
And there's only one way to have your heart right, and that is God. So
yeah, there you go. There you go. So, okay, y'all, I've got to go get my AT&T guy. It's here to unplug and replug in my internet.
Okay, thank you so much, Melanie.
Thank y'all so much. Y'all take care. It was so nice meeting all of you. Thank you. Bye.
Melanie SHANKLE is here. She's our friend.
We're like this.
Yay! Oh, let's just take a breath.
Oh, right?
Oh, I do kind of forgot we were recording.
That's okay.
Okay, Jordan. For this, Jordan.
Yes. Are you ready?
Yeah. Can I tell our audience? I have been playing this song.
Oh.
Did you send it to me last Saturday?
Maybe. Yeah.
And it plays over. It's just a loop. It was Eyes on the Sparrow, His Eyes on the Sparrow. And now it's changed to this one. And yesterday, it was just on a loop. I said to my daughter, I go, she was in the back car, I go, do you want me to change the song? Because it was just over and over and over again. So what I'm trying to say is I'm super excited to hear you sing it. I'll mute myself.
Okay. With empty hands and open hearts, we surrender as we are, unafraid and unashamed, trusting only in your name. So Jesus, take your time here, and Jesus, have your way. No matter how long it takes, we will pray, we will pray. No matter how long it takes, we will wait, we will wait. No matter how long it takes, we will praise you. We want to see you move. We want to see you move. Mountain tops or valleys deep, we lean in to hear you speak. be there. You said you would, 'cause you work all things for our good. So Jesus, take your time here. Jesus, have your way. No matter how long it takes, we will pray, we will pray. No matter how long it takes, we will wait, we will wait. No matter how long it takes, we will praise you. We want to see you move. We want to see you move in ways that we can't explain, in ways that leave us amazed, when all we can do is praise. We want to see you move that way. No matter how long it takes, we will praise, we will pray. No matter how long it takes, we will wait, we will wait. No matter how long it takes, we will praise you. We want to see you move. We want to see you move. No matter how long it takes. No matter how long it takes. No matter how long it takes, we will praise you. We want to see you move in ways that we can't explain, in ways that leave us amazed, when all we can do is praise. We want to see you move that way.
Jordan, I didn't get to hear you the last time, and I missed you.
Aw,
I was super bummed out about it. So that was beautiful.
Jordan wasn't on last time.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. And then I was sad and mad at myself for not saying, Jordan, we missed you on the Zoom. So
it's okay. Thank you.
It's not really the same without you.
Yeah.
But it was just beautiful. I love that song.
I do
And
too.
that's a brand new band that I just found the last Zoom. What is it?
City Point is who does this one. Yeah.
City Point. Oh, I just love them.
I do too. I like that.
Yeah.
Yep. And I told Jordan, I'm like, my favorite line is ways that we can't explain.
Yeah.
Leave us amazed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's God. He does the he's a miracle maker, and I don't know, there's just so many the Easter the Journey Church, their sermon was "But God," and it was the first time I had heard that, and now I kind of see it all the time. So it's like, if you're looking for him, or things you just can't explain, you're like, but God.
Yeah.
You can't explain it, but if you have that relationship with him, you can feel it. And then it is one of the things you just can't explain until you feel it yourself. So thank you.
That was pretty.
Thanks you guys for doing this again today.
It was so fun.
It was a good one. I was so excited for her. And I forgot to, there's a part in this book that talks, do you remember when there's the raccoon in the fire, it's like a fireplace or a fire trap. It's something that I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm telling people, because if you go get the book, you'll know now what I'm talking about, but it is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because he's like, well, he was out of town and the dogs kept going and messing with this one area. And then finally he comes home and she's like, oh, that's funny. They were doing that when you were gone. He said, well, did you check? She's like, no, I didn't check it. It's not what I do. And then there was a raccoon up there.
Yeah, that was the good part.
Oh, it's funny. It's funny. So thank you. I'll pray for us, and then we'll end this. We knew it was going to be a long one.
Yeah.
Dear God, Lord in heaven, we pray to you today, Lord, and again, I just thank you for this opportunity. And when I sit here and I look at all my friends on the screen, there is a part of me that continues to think about and visualize the day when we get to do this and we're all in one room. Because I get goosebumps when Megan and Paige and Jordan sing, and I cannot wait selfishly for the time where we can all be in one spot, one room, following all the rules, but to just have your presence in that one room together and just to hear their voices. So thank you for this opportunity. And with having people such as Melanie SHANKLE join a Zoom of women in Gillette, Wyoming, Lord, it has told me that just the desires of my heart, give them to you. If you want something, pray about it. God wants us to dream big, and he will amaze you. So I just thank you for this opportunity and these blessings. Lately, the one thing is friendships and the contentment in life. And Paige talked about it, and Melanie SHANKLE talked about it. And it's being content and being thankful for all that we have, not what we don't have, but focusing on what we do have. And if there is something you're longing for, pray for it. Pray for it without ceasing. Just pray. He will, and my prayer also today is that God will meet you where you're at. Whatever it is that you're needing, whether you are just thankful for the joy and the gratitude in your heart, or if you are just sad and weary and you don't know what's wrong, I pray that God meets you right there in that moment, and that he will wrap his arms around you, and that you don't have to figure anything out. You don't have to have the answers, because God is with you. He will comfort you. He will protect you, and he will be your breath for you until you can breathe on your own again. Lord, I pray that you'll be with all the moms on Mother's Day on Sunday, and just for a good day. We have these images of the perfect Mother's Day, and mine are easily not up to that standard. There's usually, like a child yelling or crying or fights. So I just pray that we enter Mother's Day with what it is, which is just love and gratitude for the very, very hard job that motherhood is, and that we appreciate any little thing that our husbands do try to do. And we're thankful for those little things, even if it might not be the picture that we have in our mind, Lord. But just be with the moms in our hearts and just continue to guide us. We want to go wherever you are leading us, Lord. And thank you for today and health. And I do pray that things will just start opening up, and that we don't forget this season, though, but that we are able to live our life like it was, but maybe with more grace and gratitude. Thank you, Lord, so much for everything. Amen. All right. Ladies, thank you so much. Melanie Ketterling, thank you. Melanie.
Right.
Melanie.
Justin famous.
Yes, exactly. The Mills.
Not at all.
So I have this question, so when you post this, does she have a Facebook or an Instagram so that people know how to find her if they're interested?
Yes. I think it's just Melanie SHANKLE, but I'll look. I'll like tag her in on it. Or
Okay, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And then people can find it off there. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yep. Oh, you got it. Oh, yeah. Just like Tara Illness, I tagged her too.
Yeah, people start following me.
Yeah, because now Tara also does 720?
It's like a Facebook Live?
Yeah, Facebook Live where she reads her writings.
Oh!
Yeah, the first one, I mean, she might have mentioned me.
No, she didn't!
Oh, she totally did. Because
What'd she say?
she's like, my friend Ashley had asked me to read something that I wrote. And she's, you know, because there's so much life that is lifted from like when the author reads.
Right.
So,
oh, that's great.
So cool.
Yes,
No,
Jordan, thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Melanie SHANKLE. Oh, also, this is fun. I have a copy of this that I bought.
Ooh.
And I don't even know. The first person to comment. Jordan, I'll just buy it for you, okay?
That's why I'm like, go on. Yes.
I'm literally coming up with this. Comment what you want for Mother's Day. And like, I want a gift. I don't want like, oh, I want time with family. I want like, what physical present do you like? Because I like presents. So comment that, and then if you could please share this. Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna send you Melanie SHANKLE's book, On the Bright Side. Thank you for always watching, everyone, and you ladies, you're the best. Couldn't do it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.